Beavers have been at work. Oh yeah. Big valley here. This is 12 acres of meadow. So I'm out at Big Valley. Stopped at the post office to pick up a package here. Oh yeah. With my little Christmas pipe in it. So, thanks Brian Doran. Yeah, that's a beauty. Doran, USA 2024. So his little card says, "Thanks Tom, I'll try and make more Northwest pipe smoker style pipes in 2025. Merry Christmas, Brian." So this is definitely a NW pipe smoker. Kind of a really thick, stubby saddle bit. Big bowl, 2 3/8 inch tall. Nice capacity here. Oh yeah. Very well done, Brian. Thank you. Yeah, I love that. I'll get a bit on there, a little chomper. I'm going to load up some tobacco here. He sent a little something he was talking about in an earlier video. Hugh Khoisan, Strong Latakia, and some Pegasus, or no, Abingdon from GLPs from 2015. So I'm going to put some of that in there. And then we'll have us a little smoke as we watch twilight kind of fall. It turned out to be a nicer day than expected. So, yeah. So my break-in technique, and this is a totally unbroken in, untreated bowl. So it's just bare virgin briar. Is to usually do a half bowl at first of something not too strongly flavored. And I'm not a big cake guy. I mean, some guys are like, "Oh yeah, it's all about the cake. Makes for a cool smoke." I mean, I've had pipes, we talked about it at the pipe club this last Saturday, where you'll get an estate pipe and there's like no room for tobacco. It's all cake. And I've had some of those. So I'll scrape those out, you know, start slow and work around until there's just a little bit left. That's my technique. But everybody does it different. That's the beauty of it. That's nice. Thank you, Brian. Great job. Gotta love it. I mean, that is stubby, thick, short. Perfect. Some nice capacity. Excellent. So I'm down here at Big Valley. I did not make it east of the mountains. The truck, I'd gotten the truck back, and with the fuel system problem solved, with that fuel line that was rubbing against the transmission and the engine, developed a leak kind of way back up in there. So they dealt with that and had them change the oil and the filters and stuff. while they're there. And drove it home, and it just wasn't charging the way it normally does. Normally the voltmeter is pegged at 14 or a little over. Well, it was in the maybe 13. And I thought, well, maybe the battery's got a little discharged and it's just taken a little bit. Wishful thinking, of course. So, sure enough, not charging sufficiently. So, yeah, the generator light eventually came on. It's like, uh-oh. So, the alternator's up there. It's pretty accessible. But it had been, I'd had it replaced maybe 10, 12 years ago as part of some other failure. Goddamn Dodge. It's an old truck. It's a 97. And it's lived a hard life. Clearly, when I bought the truck, the fuel stop solenoid was attached with wood screws. It was that kind of monkey business. So, and I'm not a perfect vehicle kind of guy. I don't need that. But I do want a reliable, dependable vehicle. And I do like that Dodge. But I was liking it less and less. So, I waited too long to deal with the fuel issue. And then here's the alternator. So, it should be easy. Just some bolts, 2 bolts holding it onto the engine, 1 bolt onto the bracket. They were all just frozen. So I didn't want to bust a bolt off, then you're into some bigger trouble. So finally I called up one of my coworkers that I really like. She's great. Her husband is off work because he needs a shoulder repair. Rotator cuff stuff. So he wasn't working, but he's a real car guy, and he likes older cars. I'll talk about something else here. So he was really great encouragement. He couldn't really wrench with me, but for instance, he could hold the serpentine belt. I did a bungee cord to kind of, once we got it routed at the end there where it basically needed to be, then I need to get on that big lever arm and do the belt tensioner. It takes a lot of effort to do that. It's a strong spring. Well, I did that getting the thing off, and I busted the tensioner. The casting broke off one of the sides of it. So that had to be replaced. That's only a single bolt, and it was not as stripped. Probably original to the truck, I'm going to guess. So it should have been replaced anyway, right? That's what we tell ourselves. So Vilas was really useful. Thank you, Vilas. And providing encouragement, and with his own stories of stuck bolts and how they have gotten them off. So I went on to YouTube University and did a little studying up, and there's lots of opinions, of course. There's a really great channel, which I'll put a link. I don't even know what it's called. The Bucket. Who knows? I'll put a link there. This guy in Missouri who does all kinds of reviews of useful stuff, like bolt extractors, stripped thread bolt extractors. So that was very interesting. And then as part of that, I stumbled on, how you do on YouTube, you just kind of wander around looking for, because you don't know quite what you need to find. So then one thing leads to another, which leads over here to another, blah. It's the rabbit hole. So there's a guy, he might be in upstate New York, dealing with a 2017 Kia, and it was sort of a rant on how difficult modern vehicles are to deal with. So not the truck, it's kind of old school. It's got the 7100 manual fuel pump and a 12 valve Cummins. So it's probably as, knock on wood, as simple as a pickup can sort of be these days. I have an old work truck that's a 91 Ford F-150 with the 306 and then a 5-speed manual. I'm the only one who drives it because nobody knows how to drive manual transmissions anymore. And they say, why don't you get rid of that thing? Man, that's so old. We'll get you a leased vehicle, you know, some new truck. And it's like, no, I don't want that, you know. New trucks, the hoods are so high that you need a camera on the front to see for the first 15 feet ahead of you that you can't see because of the hood. Anyway, I digress. This guy had this Kia, 2017 Kia, a little over 100,000 miles. Had been pretty trouble-free. It wouldn't shift. All the trouble lights were on. I mean, it was just a train wreck. And so he had done one other Kia, and he said it's a Kia, but you know, it's true with all these cars. He knew to lift the tailgate, it was a Sorento, take all the plastic off, which was kind of interesting to see how that all went on, and unplug the backup camera, which had been working great, but he unplugged it, then he went back to his diagnostic tool, and everything worked. Where before nothing worked. It's worth a look at that video. Plus he's pretty entertaining. It's a video that deserves to go viral. But it makes you realize how all these vehicles, and so many things in our lives, frankly, are a house of cards. And you just knock one little card off, and the whole stack, the whole house that you built up, comes down. So the weak link breaks the chain. And so anyway, I didn't get to Eastern Washington because I was going to go down to Portland and then over that way, and I could have gotten over just fine, but then there was a big storm coming in, and gosh, they had the lowest passes closed for hours. And that Fiat, it's got all-season tires on it, and it has really good traction control, honestly. They did a good job on that. And I had just had that repaired, a hub on that, rear hub, which is a known issue. And I had them change out the transmission fluid just because. And yeah, so the car was running great, but there's really isn't room of those 17-inch 40 series low-profile tires to even get cable chains in there, I don't think. And it's so low. Yeah, the whole thing just wouldn't have been good. So I didn't go, and that's all right. I mean, bah humbug. I kind of have always hated Christmas. There's always a little drinking going on Christmas Day, and things get a little tense, and I just don't like it. Personally, you know, it's like one of the darkest days of the year, with the least sunlight, the least daylight hours, and it's perfect for sleeping. Catch up on your sleep, you know. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I stumbled on another YouTube channel called I Do Cars, again around Kansas City, and so he takes engines apart that are broken down or junkyarded for some reason, and he has them on a stand in his shop, And he just tears into those things. I've seen some other guys with similar videos. They're out in their driveway doing it. And it makes you realize how, again, what a house of cards these things are. Oh my God. So, it's like many things, you just don't want to think about it too much, you know. You just want to just go about your business. It runs well, and don't think about those little bitty things that could bring it to a complete halt. And maybe get yourself some tow insurance. You know, I had to have the truck towed. I used to have tow insurance, but I think when insurance has gone up, and it's been going up and up, I took that off. And so, off of my regular car insurance. And I don't have AAA. I always thought that was, I'm just not a coupon clipper, you know, and you kind of have to have that mentality to, I think, get your money's worth out of that. But to initiate a tow, local tow, was $250, you know. So you don't want to do that very often, if you can help it. So, and my driveway is just so bad for, it's at an angle, it's gravel, oh my gosh. So I'll make another video here pretty soon, because, oh, and then part of the alternator thing, heat is recommended. You know, you heat up the bolt head, which is now kind of stripped out, until it's pretty damn hot. I mean, you know, maybe red and glowing. Then let it cool down so it expands, and then it shrinks, and that can break the metal to metal bonding that's happened, that is preventing the screw or the bolt from being extracted. So heat, well, I do have a torch somewhere in my shed, or I did. Where is it? Damned if I know. So I mentioned that to Doug Owen, and he said, oh, well, I asked him if I could borrow a cigar torch, you know, just a little cigar lighter that's a torch. And he said, oh, sure. So at Pipe Club, he brought one of those over for me to try. And also his wife, who has a cooking store right next door, kind of a really interesting non-electronic cooking store. Kind of neat. She provided I'm going to call it a creme brulee burner. Man, that thing has some heat. I'm surprised cigar guys don't use that as their main lighter. Yeah, that does the job. It's pretty big though. So I used those on the bolts, and then I had bought at Napa a little cap thing that fits over the stripped bolt. It has to be up to 80% stripped. So that was about where mine was. And then you put a 12-point wrench on that, and it digs into the bolt head and then allows extraction. And with the heat, and of course I'd soaked it in different nasty chemicals. I did not try acetone. That was on one of the videos. So anyway, it worked. Got them out. Got the belt tensioner back, a new one on there. Of course, I had to go to Napa a couple times because I got they gave me the wrong part, the wrong belt, the wrong tensioner. Yeah, if you have a good auto parts guy, it's pretty valuable. So anyway, it's done. The truck lives. Of course, it's back where it was. Right? It's nothing new. We haven't added any capability. It's just where it was. So there's that. Oh, and then the headlights on the truck didn't work. That's a different story. Anyway, oh my God. You know, it just goes on and on. Old vehicles are like that. I mean, you have to expect that, honestly. And it lives outdoors. It's not garaged. You know, that's a problem. I don't drive it near enough. So I need to change that. I need to just integrate it into my driving schedule, which I don't drive that much. I often will walk to work down through the woods there. You know, seems kind of stupid to drive. So, but I need to take it out more and give it a little more exercise. But anyway, it lives. Yay. And I'll be over in Eastern Washington at the end of January because a buddy of mine's having some surgery, and so I'll hang out and help him out for a few days. Give me a chance to do a little photo safariing, which I love. So, the sagas. It's just day-to-day stuff. Is this great? I mean, it's big. It's got heft. That shank is thick. Yeah. I love it, Brian. Love it. Good job. I'll put his contact info in the bucket or whatever it is. Nice. Yeah, well, everybody have a happy new year. Whatever that is. It'll be an interesting year. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. But the truck's running again after a couple of months of not, you know. So life is good. Life is good. Life is always good. It was frustrating. So. Fantastic.